right, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning into the first episode of the Hydra Athletic Podcast. Just wanted to talk a little bit about why we started the podcast, what inspired us to do this. So, as you know, we are an athletic clothing brand. Our mission is to get out there and kind of, we're kind of rooting for the underdogs. Everybody is, these clothing brands, they tailor to the elite, the already strong, already famous athletes. We want to help out those, like the little guys. So we started the podcast because we want to bring on higher level athletes, D1 athletes, professional athletes, talk to them about their journey, where they are, how they got there, how they overcame shortcomings and hardships in life. So for our first podcast guest, we have Austin St. Laurent, arguably the coolest name in baseball. Austin, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you went to school, and where you're at right now.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's a great opportunity. I support what you guys are about. Rooting for the underdogs. It's more than just your sport. It's who you are and how you live it every day. And me being who I am, I'm born in New Hampshire, moved down years ago. Just a small town kid with big aspirations to do bigger things with his life. So come from a small family. So basically living your brand throughout my whole life.
Yeah, man. Former App State baseball player. Tell us a little about going from high school to App State.
Yeah, so I started at Western Alamance High School, and growing up, I was a pretty good ball player. Not everything was there, but I ended up getting recruited to East Carolina University. Went there my freshman year. Didn't get the opportunity to play, and was looking to go somewhere and play every day. So thankful to Coach Smith and Coach Johnson and all the staff that was here that helped to get me here. Gave me an opportunity to play, and I played the next 3 years here. Loved every second of it, but going back to it, like, I didn't get the opportunity that I was looking for at East Carolina, and luckily one of my teammates from high school came here and played, and kind of got me introduced a little bit to the culture here and what goes on. So I loved it here, and it's been great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, when I talk about athletes that really stood out, when I came here, my first year last year, which was obviously the year I met you, going into baseball lifts, meeting new teams is pretty intimidating. As far as people who made me feel welcome, you were definitely one of the guys that, shake hands, shot the shit with me, just made it feel real easy to be welcomed. And as far as athletes that stood out, like work ethic wise, going to your guys' games and seeing you guys during lift, like, you always ended the lift with the motivational kind of talks at the end, broke it down. As far as work ethic goes, you were definitely one of the athletes that stood out, and I think that is a huge part about athletes coming up. No matter what level you're at, if you do not have the work ethic and the drive to want it, there's no point in doing it. You gotta want it, and you need that work ethic to get to that level. So I wanted to get into one of our first talking points here. Let's talk about a time in your career, whether it was high school, college, or the pros where you're at right now, where you had to overcome a serious obstacle, something maybe you thought this might be the end, like an injury, mental illness, whatever it might be. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I had a pretty seamless first year here. Had some good guys. Didn't really run into a whole lot other than adjusting to my first year playing. And then the following year, I started getting some knee pain to start off, and it kind of went away. And then right after we got back from Christmas break, I really started to get a lot more knee pain, and I played the first half of the season, I think, just trying to like get through it, like doing all the measures to do it, and going to the training room, like, and it takes a lot mentally to try to, because you want to play at your full potential, but you have something limiting you from doing so. So that's something that I had to battle with, and then I ended up getting knee surgery right after we played Louisiana at Louisiana, and yeah, I mean that pretty much hearing the words that like, hey, you're not gonna play the rest of the season, like we'll get you back healthy for next season. Like I was crushed, and some guys can vouch for that. Like I just want to help win, and being told like, hey, like you don't get the chance to help us win now. Like that was probably the biggest obstacle that I faced, and the best thing that helped me was just trying to show up to the field and help them win off the field, whether that's helping somebody out with doing more flips or feeding the machine or doing something while I'm locked out in a brace. But showing up with almost the attitude of gratitude, like I'm happy to be here, like I'm happy to be a part of this program, something special because somebody took a shot on me a year ago, and I owe it to them to show up the same person every day. But yeah, did a lot through prayer and meditation, just spending some time with God and trusting in Him, knowing that whatever's going to happen is going to happen and it's out of my control. And then, sure enough, got through it in 2 weeks, and they gave me the go ahead to finish the rest of the season.
How long was that process from start of knee pain to your surgery to when you came back?
So I played on it for a month and a half, 2 months, probably more like a month and a half, and it just kind of like it just gradually got worse as the season went on, as you could expect. Just the wear and tear of running around and not getting great recovery because I'm already in pain and I'm trying to just get through it. So a month and a half, and then they sat me down, told me that, hey, either you get knee surgery or you're just not going to be in the lineup. Like, you're getting to a point now where we're at like a crossroads. Whether we play you and hope that your knee doesn't hurt today, or we get the surgery and might have you back for the end of the year, or fully healthy for the following year. So, full turnaround, probably. I got the surgery, and then I had to be locked out in a brace for 7 days. Got the brace off, and then instantly started PT with Jacob. Which, shout out to Jacob. He's really good at his job. But and then I really hit the PT hard, and then Jacob said that he gauged 14 days, right about 2 weeks before he would even consider like going and starting to run again and doing everything else, and crushed PT. Jacob had me moving around really well, and I was able to get out of there in 7 days of PT. Obviously, still continuing, but I was able to go play in our last series at Troy, and then our conference tournament in Montgomery. So in total, between knee pain, surgery, after that, probably a month and a half, 2 months for really getting back to 100%. So 4 months in total.
Okay. Yeah, I love that story because you went from the start, okay, knees starting to bother me, that's when the doubts can start to creep in. then you were told, all right, now I've got to get surgery or I'm not going to be able to play, hitting that crossroads, then that's really like, oh my God, like knee surgery, I'm going to be out. But then came back last year here, got drafted into the Mariners organization. That is the definition of, you know, never giving up. Like I said, I love your message about gratitude, being grateful. I think that is a great way to kind of stay involved and stay motivated. I know when I was in my kickboxing career, my amateur competition days, I think it was 4 weeks out of my dad's last fight. My dad competed as well. He broke his, not the big toe, the toe next to it.
Yeah.
He broke that toe in sparring, and you know, just kind of from there, like, all right, what goes on now? You know, from like the devastation of, all right, am I gonna have to cancel my fight, or am I gonna work through this, get through it? He ended up going and winning that fight, which is great. But I love that message of gratitude and not being like, oh, I have to do this, I have to load balls, I have to sit out. It's I get to do this, I get to help my teammates, and I think that's a great way to stay involved. I kind of want to just talk to you about, you know, you're obviously at the pro level now. Talk to us about how you got into like the draft process, maybe like the scouting part, like how you got through scout days and kind of drowning out the negativity of, all right, when you're in front of these scouts of these MLB pro teams, how do you drown out like, all right, just needs to be another day and I'm just going to compete and do my best?
Yeah, so for me, I felt after my knee surgery, I felt like I was back to 100% and I can be myself. I can be the player that I know that I could be. So showing up, I stayed in Boone the whole summer, worked out here, rehabbed, got everything ready, and then we have a pro day in Boone. Um, and you know, for me, I go about it the same way. Some of the best advice that I've ever gotten is if you're good enough, they'll find you. So it doesn't matter where
Love
you
that.
are, junior college, D2, D1, like if you're good enough, they'll find you. And for me, I just kind of took that as more of reassurance that, all right, we have guys showing up here. They want to see me. They want to see some of my teammates. Like, so we all just need to go out here and play normal. Like, play how we always play. And I think the easiest thing for me was going and talking to these scouts, introducing myself, getting on a personal level so it doesn't feel like I'm playing in front of a bunch of strangers that are really critiquing me. So talking to them, figuring out that, oh, they have family, they have kids, this, that, where they're from, like that just really dialed it down for me. And then I could just go out there and play free. I mean, you're playing a kid's game, so enjoying the play. That's probably the easiest way for me to kind of drown out the pressures and everything of, hey, this is scout day. Like Coach Smith always says, you never get drafted on scout day, like which is true, but you do want to perform at your best. And Coach Jay really helped me out with telling me that you're a happy guy, but you're not playing with joy. Like I was always so angry while I was playing, and then once I like transitioned to just being joyful and grateful to be at App State on a beautiful field with amazing teammates and a great staff, like it just I was able to play free, and from that day it basically sent me into my best season of my career so far. And yeah, um, by God's grace, I got drafted in the 14th round this past year, and yeah, it's been a dream come true.
I love that message, man. I think that is the one thing that so many athletes forget. And I tell my athletes too, go out there and just have fun. Go do what you've been doing your whole childhood. Like my cheerleaders just went to nationals, everyone was so nervous. There was like coach was telling me that mentally not all of them are really locked in, and I completely understand that's so tough. And I sent him a message before. I'm like, just go out there and have fun, guys.
Yeah.
Try and drown all that out. Like, easier said than done, obviously, but this is what you guys came to do. You are in the sport because you love it. So go out there and have fun. And then, like you said, once you found that gratefulness and that enjoyment of just going out there and playing the sport you love, play so much better. And like I had the same trials and tribulations with kickboxing. I would go and I would be afraid to spar because it's hard sparring. Nobody really likes getting hit. But I was afraid to go in there and get hit. But the reason I joined is because I love it, and it's such a fun sport to me. And I always found as well the better I performed was when I was just having fun, messing around with my friends, you know, or with my family. So I love that message about gratefulness. Talk to us a little bit about kind of the difference between, obviously App State and then where you're at now, whether it be strength and conditioning, practices, how you're differing mentally, kind of just touch on those aspects.
Yeah, for me, it was a bit of a transition. Pro ball is very much, it's your career. We're going to give you things that are going to help, and it's up to you whether or not that you use them and you utilize everything that's there. We have a great staff there. Our strength and conditioning coaches are great. The head honcho there, he keeps a tight ship. But yeah, they make these plans for you. Same deal as here. And but there's no, if you're gonna go out there and half-ass it, they're not gonna yell at you for it, like, because it's your career. Like, you take your career how seriously you want to, and like, you got other guys that are around you that are gonna compete for the same job that you're looking for. So if they see you doing it, it's almost good for them because then you're getting outworked by somebody else. While in college, you're competing internally, but it's so everybody can be great when that game day comes. Like, there's less camaraderie in pro ball than there is here because, I mean, I can recall so many days where I roll in there and I don't really feel 100%, and I'm gonna get crushed by this lift because you guys make some tough plans, and just having those guys around just kind of rally you up. And now in pro ball, you're spending. I know for me, I went out and I stayed in the La Quinta hotel next to the facility for draft camp, and it's you're alone in your hotel room, and then they give you times to be there. If you're not there, then that's your career. Like, so there's less guidance, more there's less hand holding, like, and nobody's gonna coddle you if you mess up. Like there's no fallback. Like, there's plan A, and if you don't do plan A, then you don't have the job anymore. So it's been a cool transition. So it is a little more hardcore.
You're enjoying it though?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, because I've never really had a problem with showing up on time, doing the things that I need to do. So yeah, it's been a pretty good transition.
Yeah, so you would say there's definitely a lot more of the accountability aspect falls on yourself.
Absolutely.
So that for the athletes that are in college or high school, there is, like, obviously in high school, from high school to pro, you would say that the higher level you get, more of the accountability is on you.
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of athletes need to get that ingrained now is, all right, let me start teaching myself to hold myself accountable rather than relying on other individuals to keep me accountable.
Right.
It's always nice to have your support system. My parents will always be there for me. I have, really good friends that are going to hold me on my shit, which I love. And then obviously your teammates obviously hold you accountable, but the higher level you get, it is more just on you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have, I know I have a couple quotes that I really like that I try and tell myself every day, especially when it's just really like, like you said, one of those days where you just kind of feel like shit going in. It's a quote by Jim Rohn or John Rohn. It is, you can either suffer one of two pains in life, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And then when I came to app, I do the quotes of the week.
Yeah.
That was the first quote I put up there, and it's my lock screen on my phone. I love that quote because it's pretty much just like, you got to go out and whatever you do, you got to give it 100%. Because the pain of regret is so much harder and so much more internally bearing than it is the pain of getting up and putting in the hard work. It's so much more rewarding to know that you worked your ass off for this and leave behind absolutely no regrets at all. Especially when, say you're going into a game and you're super nervous. One way I like to calm my athletes down is, hey, you put the work in. You did everything you needed to do to get to this point. Just compete.
Yeah.
Just do that. Do you have any quotes or affirmations that you tell yourself kind of every day, every week, to keep you going like that?
Yeah. So a big one that I've always loved is Jocko. I don't watch him a ton, but like I'll see bits and pieces. One that I really latched onto was good. Like, when adversity hits, good. Like, give me all of it. Like, I want everything you have to throw at me, because all you have to say is good, and then push forward. Like for me, like, knee surgery, good. Like, oh, you're having a great year, good. Like, there's no ups and downs. Like, everything's just constantly moving forward. And I think another one that really sits with me and is that nobody really cares about you when you're out there. So, like, for me, that almost frees me up, because now I have to rely on myself, and that's fine, because then it is in turn it is me versus me. Like, and that for me is a really big thing, and I pray on it all the time. Like, give me clarity in the things that I need to be doing, like making sure that I'm always pushing forward and not taking the wrong steps. But yeah, having your support system, the people that do care about you, but as soon as you go out, it's just you. And that was a good reality check for me after I got drafted, because here everybody cares about you.
Yeah.
Like, they need you to win, and these are your boys. Like, and now you go out and nobody cares. Like, if you're not performing, you don't have a job. And that was a great kind of it wasn't worded directly like that. It was a little more, had some profanity in it, but yeah, it's cool. They shoot you straight.
Yeah.
Like, nothing's ever sugar coated, because it doesn't have to be. And yeah, I love it. I love that they're honest with you, and like, it's a business, like, and people have to make business decisions. So.
I like that, man. Yeah, I'm like what you touched on. I'm huge on everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Like you said, I get hurt, good. I'm having a great day, good. I'm having a bad day, good. I truly believe that there is no true success without some failure along the way. Because if you are only winning, how does that really make you feel? Like, I can tell you right now, I won my third kickboxing match. I don't think that would have felt as good if I did not lose my first and get hurt my second.
Yeah.
That was such a surreal experience for me. If I was just dominating everybody, cool, that's good.
Yeah.
I'd be an amazing athlete. I'd probably be a pro kickboxer, but that's not my goal. But I think that failure along the way makes that success just so much better. And I would be scared if I was just constantly having a perfect career because I'm like, when is it going to come?
Yeah.
When is that first failure or injury going to come? Like, at least if you've gone through that and you came back, you know that you can get through it. And you just need to trust that every single thing that you've done has gotten you to this point. Everything happens for a reason. And I ingrain myself. Literally every single thing, bad or good, that stands out, that happens to me, I'm like, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And the more you physically say it, the more you will rewire your brain to actually believe it. So I love that. I love the whole everything happens for a reason. Bad day, good. Good day, good. Another thing I wanted to talk about too is obviously time travel does not exist. But if you were to tell your younger self, say maybe when you were hurt or when you started college ball, what advice would you give your younger self to help him improve where he was at right now?
Be where your feet are. Time goes fast, and if you don't soak up the moment, you'll miss it. I spent a lot of my earlier years really hell bent on being the best at my sport and missing out on a lot of key moments that, looking back now, could have been really nice to be present. Um, and I really sat on it last year because I was taking in every moment. Like, I can remember so many road trips, so many bus rides, all of the good things that my teammates did. Like, really enjoying their successes and my own success. Like, I can picture different moments from last year where each of the 40 guys on our team had a smile on their face at some point. And if you asked me if I could 2 years before that, no, I couldn't tell you. And I wish if I could go back, I would tell myself that I need to be more present and be where your feet are.
Yeah, I think that's really important, is to take a moment and, kind of touching back on what you said about the gratitude, be grateful for where you are right now and for the people you have, for the opportunities. Kind of just take a moment every day and ground yourself. I think having gratitude in life is huge, whether it be, and it could be from the smallest thing. Like, I think the more things you are grateful for, the happier you're going to be in life.
Absolutely.
So, like, I wake up, grateful I woke up today. I get in my car turns on, grateful my car didn't shit the bed right there.
Yeah.
And then it could also be just grateful for, like, I'm grateful for the people I have in my life, my support system, all of that. So kind of touching on the opposite side of that, where do you see yourself 10 years from now?
10 years from now, I see myself, I'm 22 now, at 32. I see myself still playing the kids game at the highest level, with a beautiful wife and beautiful kids. Living. It's not all going to go as planned, but it'll always be a little rough around the edges on my end. But it'll be beautiful in its own way. Living the dream every day in 10 years.
Trust the process, man.
I
think it's so huge to be optimistic about your future. I don't know if you really believe in, like, the whole manifestation thing, but I believe that if you tell yourself great things are going to come and you put in the work to make those things happen, they will come. I try and live by that every single day. I remember when I first got the idea of coming to App State and being a strength and conditioning coach, trying to get that GA position. It was a few months process to where I sent in my application, applied for the position, and then it was just waiting, pretty much.
Yeah.
A little bit of emails and calls, back and forth, interviews, but I was just confident in my resume, confident in what I could do. One thing that I did to keep myself confident, to keep myself optimistic, I printed out App State A. This is back when I was living in New York. I printed out an App State A and I put it on my mirror. I'm like,
Absolutely.
this is where I'm going to go. I'll get that position. And even opposite side of that spectrum, even if I didn't get that position, we go back to everything happens for a reason.
Right.
Going to be grateful for, now that they know my name, even if I didn't get the position, okay, now they know me.
Right.
Future position can open up. So last thing I kind of wanted to touch on too is, and I'll probably do the same question for every single person. What do you think young athletes, whether it be middle school, high school, even college age, what do you think they struggle with the most? And what advice would you give them to best overcome that?
Not everything's going to be sunshines and rainbows. Shit's hard. And I think the faster you realize that shit's going to hit the fan, the better you will be at adapting and overcoming. Because, this sport's not easy. No sport is easy. And, the faster you can understand that because the sport's so hard, baseball specifically is a game of failure. And you hear all the time talking about this person or that person, comparing yourself to others is going to kill you.
I love that.
Comparison is the killer of dreams. And limit comparison. Know that it's going to be hard, and it's going to take everything you got to do it. Everybody wants to be a dog. Nobody wants to be a wolves. Wolves eat dogs. So that's probably some of the coolest things that I've heard in my time up in Arizona and California. But my biggest takeaway for young athletes is believe in yourself. Don't compare yourself to other people, and go play the best that you can that day.
Yes, sir. I love it. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we closed out?
No, I think we're good.
Awesome, man. So the message: be grateful, be happy, have fun, be optimistic. Everything easier said than done, but the more you tell yourself, I'm a great athlete, I love what I do, the more you will rewire your brain to believe it. Keep working hard. Last thing, Hydra Athletic, we are dropping clothes April 12th, 12 p.m. Tune in, follow us on Instagram and at TikTok at Hydra Athletic. All right, Austin, thank you very much for being our first podcast guest. Everybody have a great and beautiful weekend.